So, you've got a lifted truck and you're trying to tow something? Yeah, you already know the headache. A standard hitch just isn't going to cut it. The geometry is all wrong, and suddenly you're in this confusing world of drop hitches. Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. This is your ultimate guide to picking the perfect adjustable hitch for your heavy-duty rig. Let's get right into it.
You've spent all this time and money getting your F-250 or your Ram 2500 looking just right, sitting up high. But then you go to hook up a trailer. What happens? That standard hitch is basically useless, right? The angles are a mess, and now you need a massive drop just to get your trailer to sit level. It's a super common, really frustrating problem, but don't worry, we're here to solve it.
And this frustration leads you right into what feels like a total minefield. You start looking online, and you're just flooded with buzzwords. Everybody's promising military-grade this and aircraft quality that, and honestly, it's overwhelming. We're going to ignore all that marketing hype and focus on what actually matters, the real-world physics and how these things actually perform.
Okay, before we even look at a single brand name, we have to talk about physics. I know, but stick with me, because understanding why a hitch might fail is the absolute key to choosing one that won't. This goes way beyond just a max tow rating. It's about the incredible forces at play every single time you hit the road. Here it is, maybe the single most critical concept for any lifted truck owner, the lever arm effect. See, that long drop hitch isn't just lowering the ball, it's acting like a giant lever. Think about it. Every time you accelerate, hit a bump, or take a turn, the force from your trailer gets multiplied by the length of that drop. This puts a huge amount of twisting stress, we call it torque, right on your truck's receiver.
And that lever effect is exactly why the construction of the hitch shank is so critical. A hollow tube shank, well, it just wasn't designed for that kind of intense twisting force. It can flex and bounce, which leads to metal fatigue, or worse, it can bend. That's why for any serious drop, a solid steel shank is pretty much non-negotiable. It's built from the ground up to handle that stress and get rid of that awful noodle feeling when you're towing.
Okay, now let's talk about the materials themselves. You've got steel, the old guard, versus aluminum, the challenger. Steel's big superpower is something called an infinite fatigue limit. What that means is, as long as you stay within its load rating, it can handle the stress of towing pretty much forever without getting weaker. Yeah, it's heavy, and it can rust, but for those crazy heavy loads, steel is still king. Then you've got aluminum. It's awesome. Super lightweight, strong, and it won't rust. But it doesn't have that same fatigue limit. And you've got to be careful in salty winter climates because of something called galvanic corrosion, where the aluminum can basically fuse itself to the inside of your steel receiver.
So, we've talked strength, now let's talk about the ride itself. You ever feel that violent, jarring push-pull from the trailer, especially on a concrete highway? That's a phenomenon called chucking. A completely rigid, solid hitch transfers every single bit of that shock straight from the trailer through the hitch into your truck's frame. And yeah, you feel it right in your spine. This is exactly why shock-absorbing hitches even exist.
All right, with all that crucial physics background, it's time to meet the contenders. We've gone through the market and picked out the top 7 hitches, and we've broken them down into 3 distinct categories based on what they do best. This should make it way easier to find the perfect one for you. First up, Category 1, the Titans of Strength. These are the absolute heavyweights, the ones you get when you just want maximum, undeniable durability. You've got the bulletproof Extreme Duty with its solid steel shank and that huge gusset plate for reinforcement. Then there's the Gen Y Mega Duty, which has this welded ladder design for incredible rigidity. These are your go-to options for extreme heavy-duty towing, no question. Next, let's talk about the smooth operators. These are all designed to fight that awful chucking we just talked about. The Gen Y Boss Torsion Flex is pretty amazing. It uses internal rubber cords that act like a suspension system, claiming to cut trailer feedback by up to 90%. Then you've got the CURT Rebellion XD, which has a cushioned polyurethane core inside to dampen the shock. And the bulletproof road suppressor takes a similar approach, but puts the bushing right in the ball mount to take the sharp edge off those vibrations. And finally, our third category, the smart and safe. Honestly, the WaySafe aluminum drop hitch is a total game changer. It has a hydraulic scale built right into it that gives you your tongue weight in real time. That is absolutely critical information for balancing your load and preventing dangerous trailer sway. And their 180 model is all about convenience, letting you swap ball sizes just by pulling a pin and rotating the block. Super clever.
Whew! Okay, so with all these incredible options, how in the world do you pick the right one for you? Well, let's cut to the chase. It's time for the expert's verdict. We're going to match your needs to the perfect hitch.
Here it is, plain and simple. If you've got a heavy-duty lifted truck and just need raw strength, the Bulletproof Extreme Duty is your pick. That solid shank is just bomb-proof. If ride comfort on long hauls is your top priority, you can't beat the Gen Y Boss Torsion Flex. For weekend warriors who put safety first, that built-in scale on the waist safe is a must-have. And for the best all-around value and versatility, the CURT Rebellion XD is a fantastic choice that gives you real shock absorption without the extreme price tag.
But wait, buying the right hitch is really just the first step. To get the most out of it and make sure it lasts, we've got to talk about a few essential pro tips. These will help you avoid some really common and sometimes costly mistakes.
Just 3 simple rules. Number 1, tame the rattle. Look, all adjustable hitches have a little bit of play in them. A simple hitch clamp tightens everything up and gets rid of that annoying noise. Number 2, lock it down. These hitches are expensive and they're a huge target for thieves. A good quality locking pin is an absolute must. And number 3, fight corrosion. On a steel hitch, touch up any paint chips right away. And if you have an aluminum one, seriously consider taking it out during salty winters so it doesn't get seized in your receiver.
And one last really important reminder, your fancy new hitch is only one part of the towing equation. Always, always make sure its rating is a good match for both your truck's capabilities and your trailer's weight. Buying a 30,000-pound hitch does not mean your truck can now tow 30,000 pounds.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your hitch, it's the single connection point between your truck and thousands of pounds of trailer hurtling down the highway. So after everything we've covered today, you really need to ask yourself, is my hitch truly the strongest, most reliable link in my entire setup? Make sure the answer is a confident yes.